Introduction to Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant, 1724–1804, was a German philosopher who is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in modern philosophy. Born in Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, Russia, Kant spent his entire life in Prussia, where he worked as a professor at the University of Königsberg. His work spanned various areas of philosophy, including metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, aesthetics, and political philosophy. Kant's groundbreaking ideas transformed the landscape of philosophy, shaping debates that continue to resonate to this day. Basic philosophy of Immanuel Kant. Kant's philosophy is characterized by his attempt to reconcile rationalism and empiricism while revolutionizing metaphysics. In his seminal work, Critique of Pure Reason, Kant sought to address the limitations of human knowledge by delineating the scope and boundaries of human understanding. He argued that our knowledge is constrained by the structure of our minds, which imposes fundamental categories of thought, such as space, time, and causality, on our experience of the world. Kant distinguished between phenomena, the way things appear to us, and noumena, things as they are in themselves, asserting that while we can know phenomena, we cannot have knowledge of noumena. How Immanuel Kant might approach Imagitarianism. Immanuel Kant would likely approach Imagitarianism with his characteristic blend of rigorous analysis and systematic reasoning. Here's how he might engage with Imagitarianism. 1. Epistemological inquiry. Kant would analyze Imagitarianism through the lens of his epistemological framework, which emphasizes the limitations and structure of human cognition. He would examine how imagination functions within the broader context of human understanding, exploring its role in synthesizing sensory data, forming concepts, and constructing mental representations of reality. 2. Transcendental aesthetic. Drawing on his Critique of Pure Reason, Kant might investigate the transcendental conditions of imagination, considering how it contributes to our intuitive grasp of space and time. He would explore the relationship between imagination, sensibility, and understanding, examining how imaginative synthesis mediates our experience of the world as spatial and temporal. 3. Moral psychology. Kant's ethical theory, outlined in works like The Groundwork of the Metaphysics of Morals and The Critique of Practical Reason, emphasizes the autonomy of the moral agent and the centrality of rationality in moral decision-making. He might evaluate Imagitarianism in terms of its ethical implications, considering whether imaginative activities foster moral autonomy, empathy, and the capacity for moral reasoning. 4. Aesthetic judgment. Kant's Critique of Judgment explores the nature of aesthetic experience and the criteria of aesthetic judgment. He might assess Imagitarianism from an aesthetic perspective, examining its potential to evoke feelings of beauty, sublimity, or artistic creativity. Kant would consider whether imaginative engagement with art, literature, or nature enhances our aesthetic sensibility and contributes to our understanding of the beautiful and the sublime. 5. Practical reason. Kant's moral and political philosophy emphasizes the importance of practical reason in guiding human action and shaping the moral law. He might explore how Imagitarianism influences our practical reasoning and decision-making, examining whether imaginative exercises contribute to moral development, ethical deliberation, and the pursuit of the highest good. In summary, Immanuel Kant would approach Imagitarianism with a critical yet open-minded perspective, analyzing its cognitive, aesthetic, and ethical dimensions within the framework of his transcendental philosophy. While recognizing the creative potential of imagination, Kant would subject Imagitarianism to rigorous philosophical scrutiny, seeking to elucidate its place within the broader context of human cognition, morality, and aesthetic experience. Interrogating the categorical imperative, a critical examination through the lens of Imagitarianism. The categorical imperative, proposed by Immanuel Kant as a foundational principle of morality, asserts that moral obligations are derived from rationality and are universally binding regardless of personal desires or circumstances. While the categorical imperative has been heralded as a cornerstone of deontological ethics, Imagitarianism offers a critical perspective that challenges its universality and applicability across diverse contexts. Critique of the categorical imperative. 1. Universal prescriptions. The categorical imperative imposes universal moral prescriptions without regard for individual differences or contextual nuances. This rigid application of moral principles fails to account for the complexities of moral decision-making and the diversity of ethical perspectives across cultures and societies. 2. Absolutism versus contextualism. Kant's formulation of the categorical imperative prioritizes moral absolutes over contextual considerations, leading to potential moral rigidity and inflexibility in ethical deliberation. By insisting on universal maxims devoid of situational context, the categorical imperative may overlook morally relevant factors and fail to address the particularities of moral dilemmas. 3. Individual autonomy. While Kant emphasizes individual autonomy as a central tenet of moral agency, the categorical imperative's emphasis on rationality and duty may overlook the role of emotions, intuition, and subjective experience in moral decision-making. This neglect of effective dimensions of morality undermines the holistic understanding of human agency and ethical deliberation. Reframing moral obligations through Imagitarianism. Imagitarianism offers an alternative framework for understanding moral obligations that transcends the limitations of the categorical imperative. 1. Imaginative empathy. Imagitarianism emphasizes the importance of imaginative empathy in moral deliberation, encouraging individuals to consider the perspectives and experiences of others in ethical decision-making. By cultivating imaginative empathy, Imagitarianism promotes a richer understanding of moral obligations rooted in compassion, solidarity, and mutual respect. 2. Contextual sensitivity. Imagitarianism advocates for a contextualized approach to moral deliberation that takes into account the specific circumstances and cultural contexts of ethical dilemmas. Rather than imposing universal maxims, Imagitarianism recognizes the importance of context in shaping moral obligations and encourages flexible, context-sensitive ethical judgments. 3. Ethical creativity. Imagitarianism celebrates ethical creativity as a means of reimagining moral obligations and envisioning alternative ethical frameworks that prioritize human flourishing and well-being. By encouraging individuals to imaginatively explore ethical possibilities and envision utopian futures characterized by compassion and justice, Imagitarianism inspires ethical innovation and transformative social change. Bold solutions rooted in imaginative ethics. 1. Promoting imaginative empathy. Integrate imaginative empathy into moral education and ethical training programs to foster a deeper understanding of diverse perspectives and promote empathy-driven ethical decision-making. 2. Facilitating contextual ethical reflection. Create spaces for nuanced ethical dialogue that encourage individuals to consider the contextual factors and cultural nuances of moral dilemmas, fostering ethical deliberation grounded in sensitivity and awareness of diverse contexts. 3. Encouraging ethical creativity. Support initiatives that encourage ethical creativity and imaginative problem-solving to address complex moral challenges, such as social injustices, environmental degradation, and global inequalities. Costs and considerations. Embracing Imagitarianism may challenge entrenched notions of moral absolutism and universalism, eliciting resistance from proponents of deontological ethics grounded in the categorical imperative. The costs of perpetuating a rigid adherence to the categorical imperative include moral insensitivity, inflexibility, and the neglect of morally relevant contextual factors. Imagitarian interventions offer a pathway towards a more ethically engaged, imaginative, and contextually sensitive approach to moral deliberation and social change. In conclusion, Imagitarianism offers a critical re-evaluation of the categorical imperative, highlighting its limitations in addressing the complexities of moral decision-making and the diversity of ethical perspectives. By promoting imaginative empathy, contextual sensitivity, and ethical creativity, Imagitarianism provides a visionary approach to moral obligations that transcends the confines of deontological ethics and embraces the richness of human moral experience.